Sagwan. Kingston. Let's go.
Hello and welcome back to Elite Level Sport Marketing. Tonight's video blog is going to be a part of the Marketing Mayhem series that we'll be kind of unveiling throughout the year. So the topic of tonight is 5 fundamental tips for Facebook. Before we get started, I just wanted to mention, I was watching some videos today, and I always go to Cornell's site, and they had a nice video, kind of just an introduction to the season and talking to their coaches, and they always have, you know, kind of a nice backdrop. And in their backdrop, they had a bunch of these really nice national championship trophies, and I thought to myself, you know, I got to get something like that. But the problem is I don't really have anything like that, so I did the best thing I could, and I brought in my 8th place All-American plaque from my senior year. So it's not much, but it'll give me a little bit to look at. So just wanted to point out that that is there. So just so you know. Let's go ahead and get started tonight. So the 5 tips, the 5 things that I think coaches need to be doing right now to take the next step. And surely there's a lot of other things that we could go into, but these are 5 things right now that if I was to tell you to go out and do them, these would be 5. So let's start with number 1. Invest in innovative video content. And some of you out there are probably thinking, well, that's not really fair to just say invest in innovative content. That's kind of like when you're teaching a class of undergrads and you're talking to them about theory and you don't tell them how to relate it to the real world. Well, let me tell you what I mean here when I say invest in innovative video content. What I mean is you start to put up videos that will differentiate your program. And so there's a few different examples of that. Number 1 is coming up with a unique theme for your program. You know, the best example of this, it really has been what Rob Cole and his staff have done at Cornell. You know, coming up with Redman and the creative approach that they've taken has given them a product extension that really is appealing to a lot of different demographics. I mean, when you think about college students, males, females, you know, the videos that they've done, those are all things that are going to attract people. And going beyond the wrestling community, that's a unique approach. Another thing I've been suggesting to coaches that if you're trying to go after college-age students, you know, do some playoffs of popular shows. You know, you have a lot of shows, PTI, Around the Horn, Sports Nation, just a lot of different things that you can take and build. And one thing I thought about today is that if you're trying to get females, that maybe you know, you could take shows like Ellen. My wife loves Ellen, and so I have to watch it sometimes with her. Well, she has a nice little segment where she does, you know, past pictures of people, and the pictures are absolutely horrendous. But, you know, one thing wrestling coaches could do is things like that. You know, call the parents up, get some of their worst pictures, and do a little skit like that on videos. And that's a way to kind of, you know, just to, you know, to make yourself more appealing to, you know, normal college demographics. So that's what I mean there. And then just, you know, one more on that same number 1 is if you're going to do wrestling videos, find a way to differentiate yourself. Don't just do the normal things that other coaches are doing. Okay, so that moves us to number 2. The second one is use themes to package your content. So if you're creating these videos, you can come out and you can say, here's Monday's video. That's really not a lot of fun. Find a creative way to package these things that will encourage people to watch them. A good example that I always talk about in my classes is that you take a look at professional teams. And an example of, let's say you had a 6-game package for the NBA, and you were going to give away some beers, and you're going to allow them to choose 6 games, and they get 6 hot dogs. You could just call that the 6-game package. But that's boring, right? And so instead of doing that, you know, what the Phoenix Suns did is they called it the Budweiser 6-pack. And you get a 6-pack of beer every game you go to. You can't do that in college wrestling, but the point is the actual package makes people want to watch it. So like Chattanooga right now, instead of just doing a chat with the coach, they have a Monday mock talk on the Monday morning that they release, and that's a creative way to encourage people to watch them. So that's a tip that I would have for coaches, really to embrace that. Package everything that you're sending out to your fans. The third one, develop a seasonal program schedule. I think this would be a great idea. You know, your major networks do this all the time. They tell you what they're releasing during the fall, during the spring. And what you could do is you come up with these creative, you know, themed shows where you have the Real World Edition, you know, for Cornell Wrestling, the Real World Edition, or Michigan Wrestling, Cornell, a Real World Edition. And what you do is you come out at the beginning of the season and you release what these things are going to be to gain interest. And I think it would be a fun way. You come up with a nice document, a video to where you talk about these things, and you have some consistency in the videos that you're releasing. It's really challenging if you're releasing videos and they're kind of sporadic. This will give you some consistency that people can follow, and not only that, when you create this type of schedule, it makes it easier for you to carry these things out. And I'm not saying that you should have videos every day. What I'm saying is maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, you have these videos that are 2 to 3 minutes that take a little bit more time, but they're a little bit more creative in nature. Number 4, encourage student-athlete involvement. And what I mean here is that if you're going to start releasing these videos, there's 2 things you should do. Number 1, tag people as often as possible. This will help you spread your videos and get more people involved. The second thing that I think is more important than that is encourage your student athletes to be a part of your process. As you've developed your brand and you're starting to market that on your Facebook site, encourage students to go to your site on a regular basis and post on your videos. Because what happens then is a couple different things. Number 1 is that you start to create a more intimate experience. Professional and college programs are trying to do this nonstop. When you can create an intimate experience for consumers, they're going to be more likely to come back. That would be the number 1 thing. I think the number 2 thing that you do is that when you get your student athletes interacting, it allows your consumers to get to know them, and once they get to know them, they're more likely to support you. So there's a lot of benefits to that. And then it also just helps spread things as people are there, as they comment, as they like them. That would be something that would be very effective. And then the number 5 thing, I have to say it's another one of those maybe theoretical type things. Constantly take strategic risks. And the reason that I say strategic here, if I said take risks, there's a lot of coaches out there that would go out and start doing crazy things. That's not what I mean here. What I mean here is within your athletic department, where you're working, take fun risks. So when you're creating these videos, step out of your comfort zone. Doing these types of videos right now, I'm very comfortable presenting at conventions and things like that, but this is something that I'm really having to get used to. So take risks and constantly push things so you can be better. That's really the only way that you're going to become very, very creative with marketing. You constantly have to try these things, and as the season comes along and you have other things, other practices, competitions coming up, you have to continue. That's the way that you're going to build your program. And those are the 5 tips that I have for you. Hopefully some of you are going to go out and do this. And as you do, please, coaches, whether you're at the high school, college, middle school, youth level, let us know how you're doing. Post some of the videos on the Elite Level Sport Marketing site so we can see what people are doing. That's really one of the only ways that wrestling is going to take that next step, is we need to continue to set the bar very, very high and know what's going on so we can constantly be moving ahead. Thanks for coming. Look forward to releasing more of these video blogs for you.